welcome to this very special conversation. It is being seen as the most awaited tech event of the year every single year because of the kind of intent and even the inputs that Apple actually puts in. So, everything that we wanted to know was announced by Apple yesterday. Of course, on expected lines, there was announcement as far as the new iPhone is concerned, and of course, the Apple Watch as well. Now, to get you through a close sneak peek of what these new launch products actually look like, what is their look and feel, and what really has changed, I have a very special guest with me. I have Nikhil Chawla. He's a tech expert. He's joining us, and he, in fact, is joining us all the way from the United States. He was one of those lucky people who attended the Apple launch, so got to see all those products, and now will talk to us about how he enjoyed his Apple experience and also what the products feel like. Nikhil, thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us. I want to tell our viewers that Nikhil and I have a yearly tradition, which is that we get chatting before and after the Apple event, even if we don't do anything else right through the year. So, Nikhil, I'm glad that we've managed to keep our yearly tradition. Firstly, how are you? How was your experience of attending the Apple event?
Well, it was exhilarating for sure, and it was like a dream come true because there were times when I couldn't make it, and this time I could make it. And honestly, when we see it on TV or when you're experiencing it on your Mac and all, it's like, it feels like the best cinematic presentation out there. But when you see it in real life, it's even better. And also, like, you see these changes and you feel that these are very subtle changes because you're just seeing on the screen and, on the website. But when I held that phones and I saw that finishing and the titanium and all those changes they've made, that felt drastic. Honestly, that's why they say you need to go to the store and check it out before you even make a decision. So it is absolutely true to the fact that, actually experience the colors, the kind of materials they've used, all of that is improved. And how light the phone feels now. It's
Yeah.
just titanium at a different level. And
Yes.
yes, I'm very, very tired and sleepy because it's midnight here in Cupertino. But yes, let's do it and keep on the tradition.
I'm so sorry to keep you awake,
No,
Nikhil,
not
but
at all.
I'm sure it's going to be all worth it because there's lots to discuss. So let's divide the conversation in terms of as the announcements came with the Apple event. When Tim Cook started the proceedings, he made it very clear that there will be two products to look forward. It's going to be a watch and it's going to be an iPhone. So let's talk about the watch first. It's the Series 9. A lot of very interesting features that have been brought in. Talk to us about, and we're going to put that footage out for our viewers as well, about the look and feel first as far as Series 9 of the Apple Watch is concerned.
So since it's the Series 9 and not like a 10 where we are expecting a lot of changes, the look and feels almost remains the same. But what Apple has done this time is made it like the first carbon neutral product. So it's made in a way that it's carbon neutral. The kind of materials they've used, they got rid of leather and they've got this special woven fabric, which feels like leather, feels really plush and all, but it's all carbon neutral. The way they're shipping it is also they're trying to make it carbon neutral. So not using airplanes and using other means to ship it. So all these efforts have been made. And in terms of, it's like more of hygiene changes in the watches where you see new set of colors, you get to see the new set of processing power, better battery life, and obviously because of new software coming along, you feel that the experience a little better and difference because you get new watch faces and all, new bands. But overall, the watch feels very familiar, even it's the watch series 9 or the Ultra 2 or the SE2. They all look and feel the similar, but it's just new finishes, new fabrics, and new set of processor, which gives it a little faster and more features like series on the go now. So, and what has changed in this watch series, the major difference is that new gesture control of clicking the finger to control it,
Yeah.
which is magical. Honestly, I thought maybe it's just hype and it might not work. So I took a demo and I was like, wow, this is game changing. Every time we had to answer a call, we had to tap so the screen got smudges and all. Now you don't need to. You're holding a coffee in your hand, you just do this. It answers call. You want to click a picture, do this. Snoozing the alarm is gonna get easier now. You just do
Yeah.
this at night. So it's just a lot of changes in that interface, which makes a lot of difference, and it's much faster now because of the new processor.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think again you need to experience those gestures, and
Yeah.
I also hope that Apple trickles down this feature to the previous generation because it's software update, and let's see if it's dependent on the S9 processor or can it be trickled down the previous generation because that's like a really handy feature of this gestures.
Yeah, I know this gesture was very interesting. And if you looked at
Yeah,
the presentation, Tim Cook said, or whoever was presenting at that time, in fact, said that you can use it to start a call, end a
correct.
call, snooze an alarm, the timer. So I think that's interesting. But for me, the biggest takeaway around the announcement of the Apple Watch, in fact, was the kind of commitment that Apple showed to be a
Correct.
more sustainable organization, to be a more sustainable company, which is that they said they want to be carbon neutral as far as 2030 is concerned. And Nikhil, a lot of organizations or companies speak
Disclaimer.
about this
Yeah,
vision, but you don't see a lot of them actually implementing it to the bare minimum. Like you said, doing away with leather and the
yeah.
other aspects. I think that if you become more consciously responsible, I think that's going to go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I'm saying, that they committed to it, and every year we're seeing that they're making those little changes that will end up by 2030 to make them a carbon neutral company, whatever it is. But they've already managed to do that, and with every year we see that there's something new that they're trying. Like for
Yeah.
all iPhone accessories and covers now, there's nothing in the leather portfolio now. All have been
Hmm.
shifted to woven fabric. So all of these improvement definitely means a lot, because actually some companies not just claiming and making tall claims but also working on it, not just on the technology front but also on these things. And talking about the Apple Watch, I think some major changes that I also felt were like the display is really brighter now. It's almost
Yeah.
double brightness. So in the sun, when we used to usually find it hard to see the watch, now it's
Hmm.
very easy.
Hmm.
And Siri is now very deeply integrated, so you can ask Siri, how did I sleep last night? So it'll tell
Oh.
you that. So all those things have been integrated, and as in along the time we'll start using all these products, we'll get to know better. And I think hopefully we'll be doing the unboxings together. Let's see.
Yes, hopefully. And I think that will be very interesting for our viewers. But Nikhil, let's talk about the iPhone then. Of
Yeah.
course, the iPhone 15 was the most anticipated launch as far as Apple is concerned. First, as we discuss this every single year, the market or the response to Apple products is always very extreme. You either love it or you hate it. And that's the kind of responses that I saw on social media even yesterday. Those who loved it, want to start with their pre-order, so on and so forth. But those who completely didn't like it say that, it's just old wine in a new bottle. Help us understand your first impressions of iPhone 15.
So the 15 is, I would say, essentially a 14 Pro
Hmm.
made to be a 13, and that's a good thing because 14 Pro is one of the best devices still there, right? So giving that kind of a device with that same set of processor, cameras, obviously they've taken one lens away, but also giving you more functionalities and a Type C and more color finishes, brought down the cost to a normal iPhone level, not a Pro level, giving
Hmm.
you almost the same set of features that you got in a Pro model is I think again a good thing to do. Giving all those dynamic island, which was limited to the Pro series till this year, is now moved on to the normal models. And dynamic island felt like a gimmick when it came along, and when it was
Yeah.
announced last, everybody was sort of thinking, what would we do with this? But it comes in really handy in most of the things, like you're ordering, you're booking an Uber, all of these things. The notifications don't take away any space, and it's all in the dynamic island. So now the regular set of people who don't want to own a Pro because of the Pro set of cameras or processing power will get to experience all those features, get good set of cameras. The phone is much more, sturdier now, has that ceramic shield display protection. So all of this has been added. The colors are really, really nice. The pastel
Yeah.
shades that they've added. I'm sure you already picked up your favorite color, but so many colors there, and a lot of people actually were like really wooed away with the colors they have, because when I felt it in the hand, it felt
Hmm.
really nice, very light, and the bezels are thinner. So a lot of improvements. It obviously they're not going to change the shape every year around, right?
Sure.
They also have to keep the cost down, and if they start, changing shapes every year around, you also lose the essence of an iPhone, right? So I
Yeah.
am assuming next year we might see some changes, but for this
Hmm.
year it's going to be the same design shape. Obviously, the pros have been the biggest change, but the biggest change on 15 would also be the Type C.
Yeah.
Finally, Type C is on across the Apple
Yeah.
portfolio now. They have silently updated the AirPods, and all the accessories
Yeah.
that were supposed to be used with iPhone now will be Type C. So a lot of
Yeah.
changes.
Again, I'll just talk to you about Type C in just a bit, but I just want to go back as far as the cameras of the iPhone 15 are concerned. The 48 megapixel camera, are you seeing that as a game changer?
See, that's something that only the pros had in the
Yeah.
past. So that's a good thing that now be as like a normal consumer who wants to get an iPhone, because I've seen a lot of content creators especially use iPhone for their content creation because it just does the job really well. So in a way, they'll get much better quality, much better video recording, 4K recordings and whatnot. So that's something that I feel that will boost a lot of things. And I think also that a lot of memories now that we have is not anything else but photos and videos that we capture on our phones, right? So having better quality memories is always welcome, right?
Yeah. So just help me
Yeah.
understand. One of the other big anticipation in terms of the new iPhones was, and that's been the criticism for Apple for a very long time, that the phones after a while start to feel very heavy, and possibly the company was working to try and make a lighter model. How much of
Correct.
difference did you feel in the new phones?
See the pros, it felt like half the weight actually. I've been
Mm,
using the 14 Pro Max and it's quite heavy and feels bulky. And also with a case on and an Apple Wallet
yeah.
on, it becomes like the heaviest phone you can buy. And also the edges were sharp. You know, if you held the phone without the case for longer times, you could feel this line coming on your palm because it was really sharp edges. So they have curved it a bit, given it like a soft touch. And the Pro series especially got titanium on it, which makes it really, really light. And it's you have
Mm,
to lift it to believe it that it can be this light, and at the same time so sturdy that it's like much better than what we had earlier, so those dents and scratches might not even happen now.
mm. So help me understand in terms of the pricing. We've of course seen the pricing that has been put out by Apple, specifically as far
Yeah,
as the India market is concerned. Another criticism against Apple has been that it still continues to be in the extremely steep range. And if there is no real change happening on the phone, why should I invest my money? So if you compare the prices of the 15 plus and 15 first and then the Pro models, how are you seeing the pricing that has been attempted by Apple?
see the thing is there's a lot of misconception also. Apple has not given a statement yet that it is made in India smartphone, and a lot of people have
Uh,
already posted that it's
Yeah.
made in
I
India
think it
since.
started with a Bloomberg report that it's going
Correct.
to. So I'm not sure
No,
because we
no.
didn't hear Tim Cook address it all through
Exactly.
the.
So before this show, I also confirmed with the Apple team, is it like something that Apple has already made aware of publicly or not? They said no, there's no word on it. So there's no
Hmm,
official word on it. So people who are claiming that it's made in India, still it's so expensive and why not get the benefits? It's not true at all. So
hmm,
since there's no statement for Apple, we cannot claim that it's made in India yet. Now coming to the pricing, I think the Pro anyways has seen so much of material changes. The world's first 3nm processing power, which can do console level gaming and record spatial videos with both the lenses, and you can play those videos on the upcoming Apple product, which will be a game changer, visionary product again. But on the normal iPhone 15 series, again there are a lot of changes. As I said, it's a Pro made into a normal iPhone. So again, they haven't increased the pricing, right? It's the same pricing from last year, even when
hmm.
you're getting all pro level features on the normal device with dynamic island, those cameras, new finishes, and it's also much better to hold on to. The battery life remains the same. It's not impacted the battery life. You get one of the
Okay.
fastest processors. So I think it's up to you. People who think that when the first iPhone 10 was like kind of launched for 1 lakh rupees, everybody was like, एक लाख का phone, lakh taka phone, and whatnot. It just became like a news. Now the iPhone Pro top model touches 2 lakh rupees. So again, there'll be a lot of news about a 2 lakh rupees phone keeping in
Yeah.
your pocket. So that'll always be there. But it's not like Apple is asking you to get that top model, top variant and get
Hmm.
a 2 lakh rupees phone. You can always start, and it's
Sure.
up to your need. But people would still, I know, just to show off that I want the most expensive iPhone, go to the dealership and say I want the most expensive iPhone and get that. So
But I
that'll
think
keep
that niche market for Apple will always stay.
always be there.
But
Yeah.
because the smartphone market is so aggressive in terms of the pricings that we're seeing, that is why the criticism comes in that is that
Right.
money worth it? But I also want to quickly talk to you about the last few things, Nikhil. One, of course, is we spoke about the USB-C, which of course was anticipated for a very, very long time. So I want to understand, is this the pressure of the European Union or is it Apple's own understanding that things now need to be more seamless?
No, it is definitely European pressure, no doubt about that. Whether Apple didn't say it on the stage, but it is definitely, we all know it's happening because of that, because the kind of revenue they generated from the lightning cables and the
Yeah.
lightning accessories will be taken away. And I also thought they'll announce on the stage that, you'll have to use authentic Apple cables, otherwise you won't be able to use it. That hasn't happened, but you never know. When you open that unit and put in an Android charging cable, Maybe the
Possible.
speeds are limited, maybe it doesn't do data transfer, it's logged. So you never know. That we'll know next week. But for now, I think one thing that I didn't like about the iPhone 15 is that speeds of the USB Type C are limited. It's not
Mm.
as fast that you get on the Pro models, which is like the lightning fast speed that you would need. So that they have reserved for some reason that they haven't passed on to the normal iPhone 15 series where they could have, because both use Type C,
Mm.
but they've limited it to the normal USB 2.0 speeds, while the Pro models get the USB 3.0 speeds. For a lot of people, it doesn't matter because nobody does data transfers now, because most of us do airdrops and all.
Yeah.
But still, the charging speed would also be different in that matter. So let's see
Mm.
how much it takes time to charge a normal iPhone 15 and a Pro series. So that will
Yeah.
also change.
I think that's a valid point that Nikhil is making, and we'll still have about a week to know before we get some clarity on it. Lastly, Nikhil, I want to now talk to you about things that didn't work for you as far as the launches are concerned, because the constant criticism against Apple products, specifically as far as the phone, has been, as I pointed out, many of them feel that after a point starts to feel very bulky. There have been heating issues as far as the Apple products are concerned, and that battery life, that still
Yeah.
continues to be a huge concern across various customers. For people like us who've used it for across generations, would also agree that battery life is a huge concern. How is Apple addressing these concerns? Because you can continue to launch new products, but if the existing concerns aren't taken care of, you're not being able to go into increase either your market share or revenue.
Exactly. So I personally feel much better than the 14 Pro's battery, the 14 Pro Max. 13 Pro's battery lasted for me even after an year. And we've been seeing a lot of reports where people are complaining that their battery health has fallen beyond 90% within
Mm.
an year. It was
Yeah.
never the case with Apple. 13 Pros, even after using for more than 2 years, still 92% for me. And my
Mm.
14 Pro is on 88% just in
Mm.
11 months. So that's a big concern for people who use devices for longer than more than a year. Most of us do, right? For us, it comes as a testing device, so we give away and start using the new one. But
Makes
people who
sense.
invested 1 lakh 50,000 rupees would be using for 3 years, right? And if that battery life keeps depleting at this speed, it'll be hardly usable. You'll be charging thrice a day, which doesn't make sense after spending so much
Exactly.
money. So that's a big concern, and I hope Apple has done something about it in the 15 Pro and the 15 series. The battery health remains constant, it doesn't deplete that fast. And I think it's high time, if not Apple, then some smartphone company should start exploring new battery options, battery chemistries, where the charging time is lesser and it stays much longer. So let's see if that happens. But for now, I think we'll have to live with lithium ion batteries that we've been given for years now.
Okay. Unfortunately, Nikhil, I will have to leave that conversation there. As always, it's a pleasure chatting with you.
Same here.
Hope to see you soon once you come back home.
Sure. Thank you so much.